Hi, this is Tracy with Watch Kansas, and today we're sitting here in Leavenworth with Edd Hingula, and he is running for the City Commission. Now, Ed, why don't you tell Kansas and Leavenworth a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of go from there so they can get to know you a little bit.
Sure, certainly. I'm Edd Hingula, and I live here in the city of Leavenworth with my wife, and we raised two children here who attended Leavenworth High School. We live here in Leavenworth because it's a great place to do just that, to live. It's safe, we can eat out, we can meet with friends, and we can find entertainment and opportunities to grow and to learn without suffering the problems of the big city. Leavenworth is just the perfect size for us. The big city has the high crime, the congested traffic, high prices, things like that, pollution, and we don't suffer that as they do down, say, in Kansas City. We like to shop downtown, we like to walk downtown, certainly go to restaurants downtown and to a movie theater or to the live theater right here in Leavenworth. We enjoy doing these things because they are part of the Leavenworth experience.
Now, until we were talking earlier today, I didn't know that you had the live theater, so you're going to have to introduce me to that. We love live theater.
Certainly, and now this Friday there's a show opening.
Excellent. We'll have to see about getting tickets.
Certainly, that'll be fun.
I know we come to Leavenworth quite frequently. I know Kansas is probably getting tired of me talking about coming to dinner in Leavenworth all the time. And one of the reasons is, except for a short period of time, we could come with our smiles.
Absolutely.
And we could come up, we could eat dinner. Matter of fact, met our cameraman one night out there in Leavenworth County for dinner because we could all go in with nice smiles on our faces and sit and relax and talk. And so we really enjoy Leavenworth. There's so much to do for such a small town. It's amazing.
There is. There's a whole lot of things to do. There's, especially restaurants.
Yeah.
Some of them will ask you to wear a mask when you're moving around in the restaurant. But you sit down and let's face it, you're not going to eat with a mask on.
Now, why did you decide to run? It's not for the money. These jobs, they don't pay hardly anything. It's not for the money. It's not for the fame. There's really no fame in it. It's a lot of work for really not much of a reason unless you've got a heart for it. So why did you decide to run?
Well, mostly because I want to be part of the solution. There are some problems in Leavenworth that do need to be addressed. I'm not one for change just for the sake of change. Right. But I believe that if it ain't broke, you don't try to fix it. But sometimes change is needed. And complaining about the way things are doesn't get anything changed. So I decided I had to jump in to try to help create the changes that we do need and that I can see. A change in the way of looking at how to do things and what the city is responsible for, what they should be trying to change, especially for the people, though I'm running, so that the people will have someone they can talk to. So they can know that somebody is actually there not to do what he wants, because that's not what I want to do. I want to go there and hear from the people and represent them on the City Commission.
I know that doesn't always happen in Leavenworth.
No, it doesn't.
I've talked to other people that have said that they've been shut down when they tried to speak to their government.
Certainly. It's rather intimidating to look at this Board of Commissioners and try to address them as a group. Well, they don't have to wait to address me with a whole group. They can, people can call me, write to me, see me in a restaurant and come up and talk to me. And I'll be happy to listen and tell them, I can see what I can do. I don't know that I can make the change that you want. Some people want changes that are just a little bit out of the park.
Right, but you're actually willing to listen regardless of anything else, and that makes a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. I want to do that. I want to listen to people because I think, it's important that we hear what people want to say and what people want to do. I think a lot of people have had enough thrust upon them, especially over the last year, by governments, local, state, and federal. And I think now is the time we need to recognize that individual liberties and, more importantly, self-responsibility is important. That's the American way. I don't want any level of government to provide rules, regulations, and policies that create anything in the way of an erosion of individual rights. I can decide if I want to own any certain type of dog. And I can decide whether I want to mow my lawn high or low. I can decide whether to own a handgun or a long gun. And I can decide if I want to drive an electric car. I can also decide whether I need to wear a mask to prevent catching some illness. I don't need the government to tell me this.
Exactly.
So that's not to say that the government shouldn't provide certain services that we cannot provide for ourselves.
Sure.
Things like police protection, fire protection, ambulance, that sort of thing. But no level of government should establish policies or laws or ordinances that tell any of us where we can live and how we can live. Those are decisions that we can make for ourselves. And Americans have made those decisions since the founding of the country.
Would you do a pretty good job as a general rule?
A lot of people are smarter than they're given credit for. Especially here, I give the people in Leavenworth a lot of credit for being very cosmopolitan, very worldly, because so many of them are retired military people.
And they've been
who
all over.
have lived all over the world, yes. So I think that people here can decide what they want to do, and they can let their city commission know through me, if nothing else. I also want to see that we actually go after results. I see so many times I open the newspaper and there's a study or an examination of some problem or an inquiry, and reports that go on for lengthy periods of time at exorbitant prices that eat up taxpayer money. And those studies don't get things fixed, like wastewater systems or sidewalks or infrastructure, roads, things like that. So I want to see common sense applied to accomplishing necessary projects and providing city services without outside exorbitantly priced studies. I think the city of Leavenworth has a very competent staff in every department, and they can figure out what it is that needs to be changed or fixed or replaced. And then we can just go about designing the solution and implementing it without paying these giant amounts of money.
So you wouldn't be discussing fiscal responsibility, would you, Ed?
Oh, gee, spending money on things that should be spent on and saving taxpayer dollars? Yeah, not a bad idea, huh?
So I'm presuming you're going to treat Leavenworth's money like you treat yours? Except actually maybe a little more frugally, because we all like to have a splurge on our own. I'm presuming that, Leavenworth wouldn't necessarily need as many splurges with you at the helm?
I don't think we do need all that many splurges. We don't need to spend the money on things that are wasteful. We right here in Leavenworth, we have some of the highest taxes in Kansas, whether it's property tax, personal property taxes, or sales taxes, or residential and business property taxes. We spend money too loosely for efforts that can't prove that they have a positive benefit, leading to benefits for the people of Leavenworth, such as jobs and housing. There's an organization that purports to promote Leavenworth as a place for businesses, and it is funded by both the city and the government, and the county government. And I don't see the results. I want to see results for what we spend, for the money we spend.
I agree. Now, one thing I always like to cover on Watch Kansas is that Ed is very easy to get a hold of. I always like to make that point.
Absolutely.
Because if I can't get a hold of you when you want something from me or from Leavenworth, and that's their vote, I doubt I'm going to be able to get a hold of you where the rest of Leavenworth is when they want something from you. So why don't you go ahead, and right across the bottom is his contact information, and he's going to go ahead and give it to you, so that way Leavenworth can get a hold of Ed.
It's right there on my business card. Please vote for Edd Hingula, and you can get me at 913-775-0635.
And you can
or you can email me at edforcommission@currently.com.
And you can go there to get a hold of him, contact Ed if you need to. You can also get a hold of him to volunteer, to work on his campaign, and to make donations, because campaigns don't run themselves.
We can use the volunteers, and especially we can use the money. It all costs money to run a campaign, and your donations would be very, very welcomed. You can just email me or call me, and I'll give you the address to send it to. the check should be made out to Edd, E-D-D, for commission.
And I can guarantee you that if you volunteer to help, he and his wife are a lot of fun, and you'll have a great time doing it in addition to doing something great for your community.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your time today, Ed.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is Tracy and Ed for Watch Kansas.